Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this morning. Got a big show lined up, special guest here. But first, let's take a look at our weather. Brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning, Drew Pollard and his hard-working crew taking care of our everyday comfort needs. And again, another comfortable morning getting up. I know you appreciate that coolness in the air. Going to be a high today of 82, a low of actually down to 70. I'm sorry, the high is going to actually get up to 89. I misread that. It's going to be a fairly warmer day. The water temperature, we almost predicted it down to 86 degrees, a 2-degree drop. And we were talking about that last week, how it's going to start dropping. So here it is, and it's happening. River reading brought to us by Panama City, Coca-Cola. Good folks over there at that place. I know a lot of them. I'm serious when I'm saying, I'm not just saying it to make them feel good. They're good folks over there. Looking at the, let's go to Brunstown, and it's an even 2.5, and it's steady, and no movement. Look at the Choctawhatchee. Did get that rain a little bit upriver. It moved up to 3.3. Fairly, it's in good shape today. It's going to start dropping out later on this afternoon. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Looking at a high tide at 12:30 this morning, and a low tide at 11:38 tonight. Good tide today, real good tide this weekend. Okay, the wind direction be coming out of the east, coming in about 13 today. All right, I'll take a break, come back with our guest. Okay, welcome back, and look who's back. Officer Travis Bassford.
Good morning, sir.
Always good to have Travis. Welcome back, and I know you've been real busy.
Always.
I know. We've been talking before the show. He's hopping. He's got to get on out of here. He's got all kinds of meetings and all kinds of things to go to. But so what's going on?
Just staying busy with everything. You know, this is a busy time of year for us. We're transitioning from really boating safety and a lot of saltwater resource patrol to getting in the woods. Duck season's open. We got dove opening this weekend. Exciting time of year. We got football. Kids are in baseball, so we're staying busy.
You're a busy man.
Yes, sir.
A busy man. So we were talking about, you know, and we always like to talk about the situation with the fish and game, and you know, from carnival wasting disease. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about cobia. We'll talk about scallops a little bit, but talking about cobia, we got a good thing going. As far as the FWC giving us reward.
Sure. Yeah, and I know you had shared this on the show previously, but we just want to let everyone know what's going on with FWRI. That's our Fish and Wildlife Research Institute down in St. Pete. They're put some stuff out on their website, on their social media about a project they're trying to do to basically improve data collection and research with cobia. And like we were talking about, you know, before we got started here, we talk about all kinds of stuff, but anyways, you know, cobia, it has been down, and it's been down for quite a while. I mean, you've seen it really go down as far as the numbers of cobia we see in the springtime during that run. I've seen it, I know as a kid, you know, going out there, sometimes you'd see 6, 8, 10, 12 fish easily in the month of April and May, and now people aren't seeing any, sometimes going all day. So, but the way the program works is they've went out and they've fitted some cobia with some tags and then some internal surgically implanted acoustic transmitters. And what they're asking people to do, if you catch a cobia, if it has a tag, they're encouraging you to release the fish, take a picture of the tag, record the date, time, location, and if you can get a measurement on the fish. If you can send that picture in and the information in to the researchers, they'll give you the $50 reward, and then they will actually give you a t-shirt, which would be pretty cool, get a cobia t-shirt. I know years ago they tagged bass on Deer Point, where I grew up, and I caught one as a teenager and got a shirt. You know, so
that was cool.
Neat. It was, and but if you catch one and it doesn't have a tag, if you can put the fish on ice, legally sized and everything, and call the number. We're going to have Jeff put the number up for the Northwest region. They'll give you $50, and that will help with the research. And what they want to do is they're sampling the reproductive organs of the harvested cobia to try to improve the data collection and figure out exactly what's going on with cobia.
That's good. So, here's a reward. Here's a poster right here. $50 reward for March through September of this year, and of course you can get that phone number there, but you can go online and find all of this. But this is good, and we talk about, you mentioned this, I didn't realize, we've always thought they're spawning somewhere around the mouth of the Mississippi, but they might be spawning more over this way, and we just don't really put a...
And that's what the research, they want to try to figure out what's going on, and there's been a lot of talk, we have the Atlantic migration, and then we have the Gulf migration. Do those intermingle, things like that? I know when I worked in Southeast Florida, cobia was huge down there too. They would really get up on some of the inshore reefs, and you could target them. And up here, in the Panhandle, usually they were targeted sight fishing during the spring when they make that run going to the west. But in the last few years, I would say the vast majority of cobia that we see are people catching them offshore on a wreck or a reef. Way offshore, we're talking 10, 15, 20, 30 miles off, which is different from years past. You've always had those summertime reef fish, but the spring population definitely has been down. And hopefully this will help with that, to figure out what's going on. And we would appreciate the public's help, like on a lot of things. The fishermen, you're the ones that are out there and can help improve this fishery that we all really hold dear and appreciate.
And so remember, you catch a tag one, you can just take a picture of it and
yes, sir.
That's cool.
That's it. And if you can they really encourage safely releasing the fish if it is a tag fish, and then recording the date, time, location, and a picture of that tag, and then they can use that data. Hey, this fish was caught here, and this is where this fish was tagged, and et cetera, and they can map all that out. So it would really help with the research and figuring out why we've seen a decline really in them.
Yeah.
At least
I've seen this kind of stuff happen before, and that research is so valuable when we as outdoorsmen give the researchers, because they can't cover all of it. So we need to do our share on that. Okay, look, we got a lot to go, but let's take a quick break now while we get set up. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Officer Travis Bassford with the Florida Fish and Wildlife. We're always glad to have him on, full of information and some great things. We've got Case of the Month coming on later toward the end of the show, but a lot more good information. And we were talking about even, how you researchers, we mentioned this off the air, about how when the researchers, like I've been down to Tarpon Dock, just going down there, and I see some of the marine biologists down there from FWRI, and they were always getting information. They get the odorless in different parts, but you said lately they just haven't been a lot of cobia come in for them.
Yeah, we just haven't seen a whole lot of them come in as we have in years past, and again trying to figure out why that's happening, because it used to be such a robust fishery up here that as a kid I remember going out there. It was so fun to sight fish for them.
I had guys that you knew guys too that fish off the pier. They had a commercial license. They'd catch a big one, they'd catch it and haul it down to Gandy's or Tarpon Dock and sell it. All legal and all, but not anymore. All right, let's move on. We're going to talk about, we got some flounder information. This cool air in the morning makes you think about flounder gigging.
It does. That gets some people excited, I'm sure. Want to get their lights out and everything. And some people have been having some success. St. Joe Bay, Crooked Island Sound, and then the St. Andrews Bay system already gigging. Just wanted to remind everybody, we've had this in place now for a couple years, but flounder, the bag limit went down to 5 a couple years ago, and the total length is 14. So be careful, because when you stick a fish, he's dead, he's harvested, whereas the rod and reel, you can let a short fish go. Just make sure you're following the legal size limits, and then we've got the closure coming up, which it's annually from October 15th until November 30th. So got about another month to target them as it starts to get cooler, and we know those fish will start to stack up and work their way to the pass and work their way offshore like they do every year. So good luck everybody floundering. Just remember, we got them closed starting October 15th. And one more thing that we were talking about, with the research part of things. I know when I went out, I went snapper fishing twice this year, and when we came in, having mother-in-law and wife on the boat, and we came in that day to St. Andrews State Park. Just to encourage everybody, if you see a biologist out there, what they did, they took our fish, they measured them, weighed them, and then took the like the ear bone or whatever. I forget exactly what it's called, but they use all that to kind of see how old the fish is and record all that data. If you have time, it didn't take long. It probably took, while we were loading the boat, it probably took 8-10 minutes for them to take our fish and get that data and then give them back. So if you have a little extra time, that would help our biologists out in that section on getting that data. Another thing we can talk about, real quick, fishing, then we can talk about some hunting stuff because that's coming in, and I know everyone's excited about that. You know, this was a while back, and I know you spoke about it, but Governor Ron DeSantis announced that Florida extended snapper season to include these weekends in September, and that's every Friday through Sunday, including the weekends in October and then the ones in November. So you can go online, look at those exact dates, but just to let everyone know that the season now will total when it's complete 87 days, and that's the longest combined season we've had since the state, and that's Florida assumed management of red snapper.
That's great.
So just it provides more fishing opportunities. We know what happens in the summer.
Yeah.
You know, a storm blows up or people are working on the continuous days, and this just allows for more opportunities for people to go out and harvest red snapper. So we're excited about that. That's a perfect example of conservation.
Well, I was going to say, Travis, we're talking about what a healthy population of red snapper we have, because it's been managed for a while now, so you see the benefits of being able to do that.
Absolutely.
We haven't had this a lot the last couple of years. We're going, fishing in the fall like this.
Exactly, and it just like it's been this past week, we finally see it cooling down.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes it's more bearable because you get out there sometimes in July and August, and it's the dog days of summer, and it's so hot. So.
If you don't have a boat, just book one of these captains. They'll be glad to take you. I saw some good pictures this past weekend of some boats going out.
Oh yeah, they will, and that'll be our state charter fleet will be running for sure during this, and this is private recreational anglers and the state charters for those dates. But another thing too, this weekend, I want to remind everybody we've got opener Dove.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are excited. I know people have planted things up to the north, specifically for Dove, and then up to the north on the peanut fields and corn fields. People will be going out. Bag limit's still 15. It's going to open for the first phase September 23rd through October 15th, and have people ask me at the gas station all the time. We do not have a restriction on your shooting hours. That they did away with that years ago.
Okay.
So if you want to do a shoot 30 minutes before sunrise, you can start then on opening day until sunset. Those are your migratory bird shooting hours. But we don't, for years it was an afternoon only thing. Yeah. And I'm still reminding people, nope, you can do it at any time during the shooting hours, which is 30 minutes before sunrise until sunset, September 23rd, this weekend till October 15th.
Have you heard a lot of talk about getting together for dove season? And
I've heard a few people. And I would say the coastal counties, more people have to plant stuff specifically for doves. Yeah. And as we get inland and have more ag land, the peanuts and the cornfields will be there'll be people out there, I'm sure, and that's always such a good time. I mean, if you can ever get on a good dove shoot.
We'll talk about it. And listen, if you don't have enough shooters now, I'm available, so just give me a call.
You need to put your number up there.
We do. So I love it. I absolutely love it. I heard the funniest thing the other day. Instead of calling it dove season, somebody calls it, you should have shot that one season. You've been in a dove field, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. You always see the birds that someone else should get, and then they get up on you. But that's good fun, and we just want to make sure everyone has their license and make sure that it's not a baited field. It is your responsibility to know any exposed grain that does not come from that field. That would be a red flag.
And it's sort of spelled out. But if it's like peanut farmers, I mean they pull in and start pulling down and got peanuts. I mean that's they're doing their job.
Yep.
So that's all legal there.
You're right. That's natural agricultural
You can't go
practices.
out and throw the corn and stuff out. We can't do that.
Yeah. If there's corn or birdseed or wheat in your peanut field, that's when there's a problem. You just have peanuts in a peanut field, that's fine. Corn in a cornfield, and of course with doves you can manipulate as far as bush hogging and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's the way to do it. I mean, that's all legal. Just go cut it.
Right. Just don't add anything to it. And first phase September 23rd to October 15th, and then we had early wood duck and teal. That opened. It's actually going to close today for wood ducks on September 20th, and then it'll be teal only there for the remaining September 21st through the 24th. And I worked this weekend. I was up in the management area, and we had this little cool, it seems like we always get it right around early wood duck teal season, and saw a pretty big flock of teal, about 40 to 50 birds right there around darks coming down.
Okay.
So encourage everybody to get out there and make sure you have your duck stamp. And
did you have some hunters up? You had pretty good hunting up there?
We did, yep. We had some up in, we're in South Washington County in Econfina Wildlife Management Area, and some people were up there hunting and mostly pursuing wood ducks. But with this cooler weather, that will push teal. Blue-winged teal are the first ones to migrate down and that's why they had this special season for them. So
Good deal. Good deal.
So
All right, we had a good breaking point. We got all kinds of stuff coming up, so let's take a break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Got all kinds of stuff coming up. Let's take a look at our fishing game time today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. Our time, 3:23 to 5:25 this morning, and this afternoon, 3:51 to 5:51. All right, so what we got here? Are we in the cases of the month yet, or you finished all your stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we're good with case of the month. I think we can.
I'm so impressed with Travis. When he comes on, he has like a 2-page outline of what he talks about. I mean,
that way I don't forget.
Oh man, that's cool. That's organized. Okay, so
we've got a couple really good cases here. You know,
Okay.
we want to recognize our officers and highlight their efforts, and then share with some of the viewers what they're doing out there in the field every day. And this one was over. Now these cases were made over to the west. Usually we talk about cases in Bay County, Jackson County, Calhoun, Gulf. I think last week we had one out of Gulf County, that shocking case over there on the river. But this was over in another freshwater case. These were officers Sean Valdez and Jackson Mullins. We want to recognize their efforts. They were on patrol in the area around the Escambia River, checking some boat landings.
okay.
And they noticed there was a guy in a truck, had a truck and trailer. He was just sitting there. So they come up and they approach, and, you know, of course they say, "Hey, FWC, how's it going? Have you been fishing today?" And he says, "Yeah, we've been fishing." Well, he's kind of acting a little squirrely. And they look over and there's a boat in the water. Well, the boat, instead of approaching the ramp, kind of does like a half circle, almost like he's trying to leave. So they went on down there and of course announced and said, "Hey, you know, come on over here, we need to check you." And he does another little circle and then brings the boat in. So anyways, they get on the boat, they do a resource inspection, and it was 2 guys, and they open the cooler and it's just slammed full of bass, and they're like, looks like a little too many, and they did. They had 16 largemouth bass in the cooler.
Okay, here they are here, Lord mercy.
And there they are laid out on the tailgate.
Wow.
And as we know, the bag limit, you know, we had a size limit change several years ago, but the bag limit is 5 per person, and they had 16, so they were substantially over the daily bag limit. And you know, they end up conducting an interview on the 2 guys, and what they said, the fish were on fire that morning, you know, in about an hour, and said they actually caught more than 16 and let some go. Now whether that's true or not, we don't know, but they were over the bag limit and were cited. Both men were cited for possession over the daily bag limit of bass. And
Good job.
so good job by those guys. You know, a lot of times we highlight the saltwater side of things, but you know, we have an entirely different resource on the freshwater, and great job by Officer Valdez and Officer Mullins on the Escambia River.
Okay. All right, now we jump into some saltwater stuff? Or?
And we had a good saltwater case too, and this was a misidentification, but it's kind of, if you know better, or if you should have known better, you know, we have a lot of different ways to ID fish, but this was Officer Waters and Officer Dan Harr over in the Pensacola area as well, Mahogany Mills boat ramp. They saw truck, trailer, boat leaving the ramp, checked the 2 fishermen, and they said, "Yeah, we've got a bunch of Almaco jacks."
Okay.
Well, they open up the cooler, and they're not Almaco jacks. They were actually greater amberjack.
Oh,
when
man.
they said a lot, it was, let's see, they said they had around 50, and it was counted up. They had 49 juvenile greater
goodness.
amberjack, and you can imagine, you know, that's quite a bit of fish there. And they said they misidentified them, but, you know, we have several, and I believe that's Officer Waters there, but they have several ways to identify fish. And when it comes to a banded rudder fish, a lesser amberjack, a greater amberjack, there's some similarities. An Almaco jack is similar, but there's several things that tell that fish apart, including color and the way the size and the fins are. But anyways, those individuals were cited with not only over the bag limit, because you're only allowed 1 amberjack per day, but possession of undersized greater amberjack as well. So great job by those officers. Those people were getting ready to leave the ramp, and you know, we encourage everybody, you know, download Fish Rules. We really encourage people to use that app. And it's just a great way, because not only does it go off your GPS location for your seasons and your closures and your bag and size limits, but it also has great pictures for identification.
I'm gonna write this down. I'm going over this tomorrow.
Yeah, Fish
We're
Rules.
going Fish Rules tomorrow and show you the difference. But they are similar, but with the technology we have today, there's no excuse in it.
Right.
I mean, we used to have charts. You had to pull out charts. You lose the chart, but now you know, just make sure you know what you're catching.
Exactly, and if you're in doubt, throw it back.
Yeah.
And you know, it's also good to have a little, you know, pre-planning. You know,
what would be the legal limit if
one per person? That's it. You can only have one greater amberjack
one per person? Okay.
And they got to be 34 inches at the fort. You know, we talked about years ago when that size limit went up from 30, I think, to 32 to 34 because they're trying to save these females that have so many eggs.
I know.
And I tell you what, I mean, that's a lot of amberjack. So those people were educated and then cited there by officers Water and Dan Haar. So great job by those guys.
This is one of the officers here, and good job there. Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of fish. So, anyways, but yeah, Fish Rules is just a great app. We highly recommend it. I use it, and I always say like, failing to plan is planning to fail. If you think you're going to go offshore and target amberjack, snapper, grouper, triggerfish, get on there the night before and check and look. Say, hey, what's open? You know, if I catch a fish that's similar, what am I going to do? And have a game plan. So.
Okay, Travis, we talk about human nature, about going back to the Bass case where those guys sort of acted suspicious. Y'all are trained in psychology a lot of times. You don't take class. I mean, you talk about psychology. Somebody act like looking away. They look guilty. They give themselves away a lot of times, don't they?
They do. They do. And I've been doing it now 14 and a half years.
You've been doing it that long?
Yeah, it's been a while. And a lot of times, when you've been doing it that long, you can kind of talk to somebody, and it's hard for someone to hide their kind of guilt sometimes. And again, this isn't like the crime of the century here, but it is important, and it's what we do, and we've got to hold people accountable when they break the laws. Because really, like those amberjack there, I mean, they're taking the resource from somebody else who's trying to do it legally.
That's a hit right there. And y'all are good about it when they make a mistake, and it's not that bad about just giving them a warning and all that. But when they get busted, they need to be busted.
Sure. And we do. We issue a lot more warnings than we do citations.
I know you do.
Educating people. So.
All right. But next time you come on, you said you have some CWD, some new stuff coming on with that later on?
Yes, we do, and we know we've had the meetings, and we'll have another meeting next week, and excited to talk to everyone about some additional regulations and some measures they put in place, and we want to share that with everyone and get the information out. So
that's good. Travis, always good to have you on, buddy.
Yes, sir. Enjoyed it as always.
Try to get some free time and all, so you can go fishing yourself. And
I'm gonna try.
And keep me posted on dove shoots.
Oh, yeah, will do.
Okay. Thank y'all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. We appreciate the viewership. Y'all see Travis, give him a shout out. Always call FWC on some good stuff if you know what's going on. You have a great day. Do something good for someone else today, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.